Boop, 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 boop. Bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Ah! That didn't go well.
What'd you do?
I fell. Did you not see me fly off the table?
I thought you dropped something. Are the switches okay though?
Yeah, the switches are fine. It landed on my hand, but thanks for asking. Hello and welcome to our Switch OLED video. Oh wow, look! The 7-inch OLED display also has 64 gigs of storage. Wow! That's double the original Switch for $50 more. To be fair, like even with 64 gigs, you're pretty much definitely gonna need to pick up a micro SD card. But the nice thing is, they're cheap and fast, so there's no reason not to. But I like how this little part of the box just says everything new on it. Not only do you have the dock with Ethernet, but you also have the adjustable stand. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe for Austin's box review. Oh my God, look what I did! Can you see this? Look at this!
I can't wait to see what you do when you open it up.
So for context, the Switch OLED will be available very shortly for $350, a full $50 more than the original Switch, which is still on sale for some reason. So these are white, which I don't actually know. Have they ever shipped white Joy-Cons on anything before? So first impressions, this looks like a Switch. Now do you hear that?
I do hear
that
it.
fine texture?
Ooh, that screen looks great though. Whoa.
It's off. No, it's off. How dare you?
No, but like the front glass actually looks way better though already.
We'll do a side by side. One of the advantages here is that while the physical dimensions should be pretty much identical to the original Switch, you're getting a much larger display in the same size chassis. So we've got ourselves not only an HDMI cable, although to be fair, this is still 1080p only. So while the Switch OLED has seen a number of upgrades, it is not a more powerful system, right? So you're still looking at the exact same performance and whatnot, but the same battery life too. I'm just gonna put my cards on the table. I still use the Switch Lite. This is the move right here. One of the things that's always bothered me, and actually we can just test it right now, that is the sort of the rails being a little loose. I'm curious, obviously I've modified these Joy-Cons, but even the stock ones always have a little bit of flex to them. Well, let's see how the rails feel on this new Joy-Con. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, cool. So anyway, that's why I like the Switch Lite. Thank you very much for attending my TED Talk. Make sure to subscribe and ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling bell for other nuggets of wisdom like Austin likes Joy-Cons that don't drift.
Ooh, I like the back of that. Oh,
Panda,
show
panda, panda, baby.
Show me the back.
Look at that.
Oh, I like that.
That's it.
Ooh.
Look, 2021, the year of the panda colorway.
Wow.
I broke it.
Never mind, I hate it now.
It is nice though, so essentially you've given up one of the USB ports, but on the inside you have the AC adapter, HDMI, and you now have Ethernet. My first sort of thought though is how does this kickstand feel? Because the old one was obviously just garbage town central. This feels much nicer, right? So I can play it like this, lean it back. Big fan of that. Oh, that's weird. So the micro SD card actually now goes into the side like this.
It is like a Surface.
Yeah, it's very surfacey. Yeah. So I'll immediately say the size of the screen makes a difference. Obviously, I usually play on a Switch Lite, which is even smaller, but especially when you compare this to a standard Switch, this looks a lot better. That sounds great.
And ready to fire.
That definitely, to me, I mean, I guess I would have to do them side by side. That sounds a little bit louder to me than the last Switch. Unlike the old display, which kind of felt like it was sort of sunken in, this feels like the display is all the way forward against the glass. Now, this is a really impressive panel. That sound though, man, I just keep getting, being surprised by just how loud it is. All right, we'll turn the brightness down. Oh, wow. Okay. That is perfect for when you're alone in your bed at 3 a.m. playing Astral Chain. Not that I would know anything about that. Look, I'll just spoil the rest of the video right now. I can't see much of a reason to buy a standard Switch. If this exists for roughly $50 more, I'm not saying you should go out and go throw your current Switch in the garbage, but if you're considering buying a new Switch and you're not gonna get the Lite, I mean, why would you not spend a little bit more to get the far better display, you're gonna get the better kickstand, 64 gigs of storage, you've got the Ethernet on the dock. This is clearly a big upgrade, right? There's no doubt that the Switch OLED on the surface looks better, larger, much better display, speakers sound great, the kickstand is actually useful, and now of course that you got like Bluetooth support and whatnot, like there's a pretty substantial upgrade here. What I'm curious about, we can see what it looks like on the surface. We can see the aesthetic modifications that have been made, but you know what we don't know, Ken? What lies inside? Is there a fan in this? You know, I could probably just stop listening to it and actually see if I can open it up. That seems like a probably better idea. That's a more thorough test to see if there's a fan inside and see if it spins. So to help take a closer look is a Switch OLED. And because this is not my Switch OLED, oh, is that Nicole from Super Switch Go who let me borrow your Switch OLED? Now I'm gonna have you here so that I inevitably break it.
I saw you already dented the box, so you know we're making good steps here.
Have you been here the whole time? Shall we take apart my Ultimate Switch first? So have you ever taken apart a Switch before?
I've taken apart a Joy-Con.
Oh, that's way harder. I will say immediately, just looking at the two side by side, this looks like it's easier to open up, potentially to repair. Just there's fewer screws, it looks like. All right.
Here we go.
So that is the existing red box Switch with the larger battery. For context, let's take a look at what's inside the OLED. It's okay. It will be fine. We're doing this for science.
For science, in the name of science.
No switches were harmed in the filming of this video. It's totally a lie. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to take apart your kickstand. I don't know how that's gonna come out, but we'll come back to that, because that, I mean, it's just gonna get in the way.
Like, the kickstand is my favorite part of the OLED, so if that's the one part that's broken.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong. Look, it's literally, that's it. One half of it's already off.
Yeah, I feel like this is like when you're in the car with a friend who's a bad driver, and you just all, no, wait, let me finish, no.
All right, so now what I just need to investigate is, there's certainly something that's holding it on. It's about to give up its secrets. There we go, there we go. All right.
It's open.
Is everyone ready? See what's inside the Switch OLED after all that hassle? That's not very exciting. So the back panel does have the hinges built in. So that's certainly a difference. I can tell that already. What I want to see is underneath this. It is
Wow! It's basically the same. Wow!
You've got the SoC, which is essentially the same underneath here. You've got a heat pipe, which I guess does look a little bit smaller, but I mean, it's not a huge difference. The fan is also, I would say, slightly smaller as well. The battery looks like it's the exact same unit, HAC003. If you would like your opportunity to win yourself a completely unopened Switch OLED, Nicole has a very fancy new giveaway where you can win one that has been completely unmodified by yours truly. What do they need to do to enter said wonderful giveaway?
All you gotta do is check out my channel, youtube.com/SuperSwitchGo.
Wow, that's so easy. It's almost as if someone who opens switches could do it. Technically, this looks like a slightly smaller heat pipe and fan.
Oh, hold on. I got you, dude.
I need to take a little bit of a deeper dive. And there's only one guy to talk. No, we gotta blur this. I gotta blur all this now. I gotta blur this. All right, Steve from Gamers Nexus, are you ready to duo evaluate the Switch? I don't know what you call this.
I think that's about as good a word as any.
For reference, this is just an unmodified standard Switch. This is the original launch model. This right here is the red box, the 01 Switch. And this on top is the Switch OLED. Oh God, do you see this goop? Look how much thermal paste is just sitting on top of that.
I think that's where Mario ended up.
So this is the original red box Switch. So we're gonna close it up. And that is 8.98 right here. And make sure it's 9.02. 5.76, yeah. So it looks like, I mean, that's about where it's at.
So I would just call that a 6 and the other one a 9. And so then the length of the heat pipe could affect it further. Where it's contacting can affect it, but the size of the heat pipe doesn't necessarily tell us too much about the cooling, especially because from what it looks like also the fan may have changed.
Yeah, so the blades on the original, so you see, so it's all uniform. I don't know how many blades that is, we could probably count it, but.
The fan's different though, for sure the fan's a little different, and we don't know if the fan speed may have changed outside of normal variants either. Did you take it apart past where it is right now? Like, have you taken the heatsink off or anything?
No, so basically both of these have like the little metal, like sort of like exterior.
So that's the big question I have is because originally it was, they did back plate and then the red thermal putty and then the heat pipe, and then there was another plate under it, and then thermal paste, and then a copper shim, and then thermal paste, and then the SoC. So like, it worked fine because the device isn't that high power. Strictly speaking, that's extremely inefficient because you're transferring through all these layers. Every layer is worse.
Having used it, I will say, after playing a few minutes of games, I couldn't hear the fan at all. I had it straight up to my ear. So regardless of what they've changed here, I don't think there's any scenario in which like it's gonna be dramatically louder, right? Like, it's very, very quiet.
There may be differences in thermally or whatever, But you get into territory where it's like maybe it's measurable but not noticeable.
You know what might be more interesting though is not using it in handheld, but actually using it in the dock. That might make a little bit of a difference once it starts ramping up the clock speed.
It would also be interesting because that helps to control the testing a lot, because now you're eliminating the screen.
All right, my friend. Well, I think there's only one thing for it. I'm gonna put this thing back together, ship it off to you, and see if it gets the Gamers Nexus seal of approval.
Yeah, we'll stick a bunch of thermocouples on it.
So that, my friends, is a look at the brand new Nintendo Switch OLED. At first glance, it does seem like a substantial upgrade, especially with that screen and whatnot. Make sure to stay tuned. Not only go subscribe to Nicole over at Super Switch Go, but of course, our boy Steve at Gamers Nexus is gonna have much more in-depth coverage of if the Switch OLED is different in any meaningful way, because I certainly will have no opinion on that whatsoever.
I'm gonna take this. We don't need it anymore.